So we're still here at the 59th edition of the Zambia International Trade Fair. And well, just some few minutes ago, we were having a conversation with somebody, I think two from Bank of Zambia, Mr. Felipe as well as Mwika. They've given us a rundown of what their departments definitely do at the Bank of Zambia. Now, we do have someone else who's going to help us understand what you and I out there are slowly adapting to, all right? So welcome to this platform, and can you tell us your name and what exactly you do at the Bank of Zambia?
Thank you. My name is Akaviwa Kalimukwa. I'm a manager in charge of policy and development in the Payment Systems Department.
Awesome. Now, when somebody hears payment system, they'll probably think it's paying out. What exactly is the payment system department at the Bank of Zambia?
So the payment system department at the Bank of Zambia is a department that is charged with the responsibility of overseeing different players who facilitate payments in the economy. So these include commercial banks and what are called the payment service providers. So the common payment service providers you can think of the likes of MTN Mobile Money, Airtel Mobile Commerce. Most people actually know it as just Airtel.
Airtel Money.
Airtel Money, yeah. So, but the full name is Airtel Mobile Commerce. Zambia Mobile Money is one of the payment service providers. But there are also other non-banks that facilitate payments. As you know, payments are important in an economy because everything that you do in the economy, you end up making payments. So you need to have reliable payment streams through which you can perform your transactions and be able to make payments. So it can be remittances, if you are conducting remittances. We also oversee entities like those agents of Western Union, those that perform local remittances and also international remittances. So that's basically what we do. So to facilitate, to ensure that the payment platforms are secure, they are reliable, and they are safe.
Awesome.
For facilitating trade and commerce in the economy.
Okay. Now, if somebody is going to ask you a question when it comes to the payment systems currently in Zambia, and I'm glad that you've alluded to the fact that for an economy to thrive, there's always a payment system. There's a payment process that happens.
Yes.
Recently in Zambia, we've seen a shift. Just not so long ago, there was an announcement by the Bank of Zambia that soon we'll be phasing away with the check. First, let's start from there. Why have we gotten rid of the check that we've used since time immemorial, and now we're getting to a different type of payment system? And what is it that you're going to provide after the check is gone?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So there are various reasons why the check is being phased out, and you'll be interested to know that the proposal, in fact, to phase out the checks actually came from the users themselves. So over the years, the check as a payment instrument has been declining. The Bankers Association of Zambia, which represents all the banks in Zambia, all the commercial banks are members of the BAS, the Bankers Association of Zambia. So there's been a sustained decline over the years in the use of the check. So obviously the reason is that one of the reasons why they are not favored is that there's been high incidences of dishonored checks. So people sometimes tend to be dishonest. They'll write you a check. They know that they don't even have sufficient funds in their account. So the check ends up bouncing. So that's one of the reasons. So high incidences of dishonored checks, then a sustained decline in the use of the check itself by members of the public. Then also the emergence of new ways of making payments, electronic payment methods. As you will note later on in the interview, there are a number of there are a number of payment options that are available now in the economy. You are talking of mobile money. Mobile money has phenomenally picked up. For instance, in 2010, we're talking about around 106 billion transactions in mobile money.
Those are huge numbers.
Mobile payments, yes. 4 years down the line, as at end of December 2024, the total transactions in mobile payments grew to 486 billion. So that's a huge uptake. So also the check is very
just a little bit. So all these numbers that you're giving us here,
yes,
these are numbers that are generated simply by your department monitoring the payments that are being done just on this gadget that I'm holding in my hands.
Yes. So it's both the ones that are being done on the phones and also those that are performed
using point of sales.
No, using commercial banks. For instance, through the platforms that commercial banks provide.
Okay.
Yes. So what happens is that these entities, the payment service providers and the commercial banks, including the commercial banks, submit monthly prudential returns to the Bank of Zambia. So these returns are submitted monthly on the volumes and values of transactions that they've performed. So they are designed, they are what we call returns. So on those returns, they record the volumes and values of transactions that they've performed. So we monitor that, and with that we are able to influence policy to ensure that we provide an enabling environment in the payments ecosystem.
Awesome. Now, in the quest of providing an enabling environment for the payment system, me and other fellow Zambians out there,
yes,
we are slowly, if you were to check my wallet, I'm broke. But if you were to check my phone, probably I have something there.
Yes.
Let's speak to the new era of payment system. What has this done to Zambians and the Zambian economy? And also, what is the future looking like for the payment system that we're moving towards?
Okay, so thank you very much. So what is happening now is that because these electronic payment methods, they are generally called digital financial services. So the point of sale, electronic funds transfers, they have several advantages over paper-based instruments like the check we're talking about. They are convenient. They are very convenient. First of all, they are very convenient. Before, you would find that people had difficulties for them to move funds or even to pay someone. You would have, for instance, to go to so much trouble as sending somebody on the bus to go and make a payment on your behalf. Then we're also talking about far-flung areas in the rural areas where commercial banks don't have a presence. Okay? They can't afford to put up a branch. So what has happened is that these digital financial services have really contributed to the increase in the financial inclusion. So all those that were financially excluded in the rural areas have come on board. So because they're able to now either access platforms where they can make payments. There's now even the possibility of somebody even borrowing through these platforms. They can save. Apart from the convenience, there's also the efficiency aspect. So a person can sit in the comfort of their business. You talk of the marketeers at the market. They will sit, they don't necessarily need to leave their premises and go
to go and bank.
To go and bank their money. Okay? Then there's also the issue of safety. Okay? It's safe. You don't have to physically move with your cash.
With your cash, yes.
With your cash. So there's the safety element, the efficiency element, and also the convenience it brings. So it has really made life easy for most Zambians. And now talking about the future where we are going. In fact, when we talk about the various retail payment streams, the check from being a dominant payment instrument, it has been relegated to being the last one. Then after mobile payments, we've seen also a huge uptake of point of sale transactions. Nowadays, it's very easy for somebody to go to let's say, a merchant like ShopRite or Pick and Pay. You find a point of sale machine there, you just swipe, you tap, and you pay for your goods. And in fact, the point of sale has evolved to become one of the second after mobile payments. Then electronic funds transfer rank thirdly, and then ATM transactions. So we are seeing a changing shift. So in terms of where we are going, the bank is undertaking a number of initiatives, to ensure that a number of use cases are available on the National Financial Switch. The National Financial Switch is a shared platform that is operated by the Zambia Electronic Clearing House, and all local transactions are switching through that National Financial Switch. Before, point of sale transactions, ATM transactions would switch outside the country, but now where we are going, we want to see a situation where all local transactions are switching through the switch. They're also adopting all the new innovations in the payments ecosystem. The use of QR codes, even the sharing of information, open finance. Those are some of the initiatives that the bank has come up with to ensure that we facilitate payments and for all the users.
Awesome. Now, we can't run down this conversation minus speaking of fraudulent activities that are out there. This non-cash handling payment system really has also opened an eye to somebody who's on a dark web, on a dark market, thinking, I can steal from these people using this system. What has the Bank of Zambia put in place to make sure that we reduce these, or probably get rid of these scammers who are out there? You receive Indana Mashavala, Ndana Shifuma, or whatnot, or somebody will call you and say this and that to you because they want to steal from you. Or maybe they'll just hack into your account and steal whatever that you have there. What is the Bank of Zambia doing to make sure that people's money is safe, even as we get to a cashless handling? And a minute.
Okay. So a number of initiatives have been done by the Bank of Zambia. One of them is the oversight of the service providers. Okay? Because they are the owners of these platforms, so what the bank has done is that, for instance, it issued cyber guidelines for all payment service providers to adopt, so that they have minimum standards to safeguard themselves against cyber attacks. So to ensure that their cyber hygiene, there is cyber hygiene in their platforms. Then also, so in short, we continuously monitor, both on an ongoing basis. Sometimes we go on site to inspect their platforms and ensure that they are adhering to the various laws and regulations that are issued by the Bank of Zambia as regards their operations. Then secondly, we've also been undertaking what we call the Go Cashless campaign. And in conducting this Go Cashless campaign, we've partnered with a number of stakeholders in the financial sector and also outside the financial sector. One of the key stakeholders that we normally interact with is Zitf, because the mobile money is riding on the phone.
On a phone.
Yes. So we undertake provincial sensitization campaigns, and also on social media, but also we undertake campaigns in conjunction with the service providers themselves, commercial banks and chambers of commerce, to ensure that there is wide adoption of digital financial services. Then in conducting these sensitization campaigns, we share tips on safety tips that they need to be aware of as they consume digital financial services. One of them is not sharing their PINs. A mobile wallet is just like a commercial bank account. So you need to ensure that your PIN is secure. The other thing you need to do is that you don't fall prey to suspicious requests, like the one where like the example you gave of Impia Shabalanda. The other time when we had the NAPSA partial payment, you would see scammers again enticing members of the public that they their
partial payments.
Their partial payments are due. Meanwhile, they've not even made any effort, or the person hasn't even started the process of claiming the partial payments. Then also, we're encouraging members of the public to ensure that they are alert in terms of, because there are also problems that have come where members of the public, sometimes they can be in a hurry to send money, and they don't care to check the name of the recipient. Okay? So what normally happens is that we've received a number of complaints where somebody has sent money to a wrong number. But on these platforms, there's what we call a name lookup functionality, which brings out the name of the person you are sending the money to. So we encourage members of the public to ensure that they check before they click and send the money. Because what normally happens is that it takes a long time. Sometimes you would have to call the recipient to cooperate to be able to reverse those funds, and service providers have to be involved to facilitate that reversal. Then also, if they are frauded, if they are defrauded, we are encouraging them to report those scams to the Bank of Zambia so that we can assist. There is also a USSD code star 707 hash where they can report mobile money frauds. There are options that they can select and put their details. Then once that information is submitted, that information is shared with the Bank of Zambia, and we've assisted in many occasions. So sensitization is continuing. Sensitization, a lot of financial education is we are going to continue, and we've done it, and it's going to continue even into the future, because that's the only way we are going to get our members of the citizenry aware of these fraudulent activities.
Awesome. Well, it's well rounded up, and I'm glad that we're speaking to people out there, because there's no day that goes by without somebody getting a message saying this is what we want to do. Now, if you're listening to this right now and you want more information on this, you can simply come through to the Bank of Zambia stand right here at the International Trade Fair, and this information will be made available to you. Sir, thank you very much for according us this opportunity to have this conversation with you. It has really been an eye-opening, especially that everybody out there is getting to an era where they're not moving with money. But even as they're not moving with money, we've gotten rid of one thing, which is being robbed with a lot of money. Now we have this person who's robbing us, and we don't know who this person is because they're flawed. They're a scammer. Thank you very much for letting people know what they can do.
Thank you very much, listeners. Please visit us, and then you have more information we'll be able to share at the Zambia International Trade Fair. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, my name is Victor Mwanza, and Lukoncha Sakala is on standby in our Lusaka studio to give us your headlines. After that, we do have much more stand coverage right here at the International Trade Fair.